So today I'm going to show you how to wrap your own bar tape. I don't really know how I learned this. I just learned it very early on when I became a cyclist. And yeah, it's actually pretty easy once you get the hang of it. So what you're going to need is some Marque Bar Tape, because that's the best, a pair of scissors, and some electrical tape. And that's it. If you get the Marque Bar Tape, it comes with bar ends, so you don't have to worry about saving the ones that came in your bike. So to get started, I'm just going to kind of put the stuff in my pocket so I can have both hands. So bar end, I'm just going to pocket that as well. You're not going to need that right away. So bar tape. So when you start, you're going to have your raw end, and you want the sticky side on the bottom of the bar tape, your raw end facing away from the bike, so facing the outside. You're going to overlap it a little less than halfway off the end of the bar. You're going to stick it on. It'll hold pretty well. You don't have to really hold it there because it'll stick. And you're going to be wrapping from the bottom towards the bike, over the top, and away from the bike. It's important that you wrap in this direction because when you're putting force on the bar, your hand naturally turns out a little bit, so you want to be wrapping in a way that you're not going to be unraveling your bar tape as you're putting force on it. So you're going to wrap kind of tightly, and do not peel all the sticky stuff off at once because you're going to want that left over. So I like to, you might have to play around as you first start to figure out how much overlapping you need so that your bar ends will cover that, but once you start wrapping, you want to have less than half of your bar tape overlapping, and you can kind of see once you get going where the difference in the leveling of it is. And I'm pulling it as I go around. You want it to be tight. You don't really want a loose fit. So this is the easy part. And one thing I recommend, if this is your first time doing it, when you unwrap your old bar tape, practice with this a couple times. It's not going to be sticky, but you can practice so you get the motions before you're doing it with the real thing, so you don't waste a nice roll of bar tape. So yeah, just keep going. And you can see I'm just pulling a little bit of that paper off as I go. The reason you don't want to pull it all off at once is because then your bar tape will be sticking to itself and it won't stick to the bars as well. It'll just be a mess. Okay, so if you're still with me, congrats, you made it through the easy part. Now this is the hard part. When you get to the clamp for your brake levers, you're going to come around, and when you get inside, instead of continuing to go around, we're going to wrap. Sorry, try to do this so you guys can see my hands. You're going to, when you get to the inside, you're going to go up over your base bar, underneath. You're going to go around the clamp one more time, back over your base bar again, and then finish your wrap job on your base bar. When you get to the turn in your base bar, you're going to have to overlap it a little bit there. It's going to be just a little bit thicker, but it's okay. And how far you go is personal preference. Just how far do you want me to go?
Just kill the roll.
And when you get to the end, the reason you need scissors is I like to just taper the end of mine just a tiny bit so that you have more of like a flat end where you're gonna tape it off. So now you're gonna take your electrical tape. This part you do kind of have to hold on to it because it's not gonna stick that well to itself. And you're gonna tape your electrical tape in the same direction as your bar tape. So I just like to go around 2 or 3 times, just making sure the ends are totally covered up. And then I always finish my tape off
Do it around again just because.
on the bottom. One more time.
Yeah.
I always finish my tape off on the bottom, just I feel like you're less likely to get it peeling off, and it just looks a little cleaner. And then you can fold these guys back down, and if you did it right, your corner right, it should be totally covering. And then you're going to take your bar end and you're going to kind of shove all of the extra inside there. And then this takes a little bit of oomph, but you're gonna smush that in, and ta-da! So we're gonna do the other side now. Let's turn the bike a little bit, and I'll just review the important steps as I go around. So one thing I did forget to mention, Marque and among other brands, they actually include these little strips in with your bar tape. You can use them instead of electrical tape. I like to use electrical tape because you can wrap it a couple more times around. You can see this would only go around like 1.5 times. And I just find the electrical tape holds a little better and lasts a little longer. But if you want to use those, plus a little extra ends, you can. So, to review, when we start, we're going to start with our raw edge facing out and our tape stuck to the bottom of our bar, not to the top, so that we're wrapping in the right direction. And just want to make sure with your first wrap around that you totally cover that end so you have enough to shove inside after. Okay, so we're at the hard part. Reminder, when you get to the clamp for the brake levers, you're going to come around, and instead of going back around, you're going to come over the top of your base bar. When you get to the bottom, come around the clamp one more time, back over the top, and finish off the roll. And if you did it right, you should be pretty even when you get to the end. bit. Now, let go of that, or you might have a little bit of unraveling. The Marque stuff sticks pretty well, but I've had some brands that do not stick as well. And tape it off.